What?
How good's my car?
Open the bonnet.
Huh?
Open the bonnet. Keep it running. So, in December, my friend Sylvia blew up, and at first we thought it was a head gasket, because that's what it seemed to be at first sight. So it was pressurizing the cooling system. So we took it back to his work and pulled the head off, only to find that the block surface, the deck, had separated from the cylinder sleeve. So next step was to pull the motor out. And then after pulling the motor out, we decided to get the head skimmed in preparation for a new bottom end. And then we had to get the old block out of my boot. Hold on. Reposition. Get ready? Yeah.
Wait, grab it like this. It's like what? Go lift up and then just let it get it off the cut. Ah. It worked. Got it out.
So here we've got the old block on my floor, and we were going to start disassembling it. Like, pull the rods and pistons out mainly, because that's all we were using. Well, that's all we thought we were using. And here's the turbo manifold on the bench, intake manifold. That's the new DE motor. And that's the old DET block. And then we're cleaning up the DE motor, only to find that the old DET pistons had cracked ringlands. Yeah, you know, everyone loves a backyard rebuild.
Had low comp across all four.
Luckily for our mate Ben, he had a set sitting there on his shelf that didn't have much use, so I picked them up for pretty cheap. And here I am slapping them into the bottom end. New bearings, new rings, and in they go. So today we've got a S13. It's got no motor in it, gearbox is still in there. And we're going to be putting a motor in it. There's the old motor. Here's the new motor. New motor is a DE block with the old head. It's got HKS cams, TD05. Because it's a DE block, we've got to run this. Got to run the old adapter because it doesn't have the factory oil feed location. It's already been tapped for the drain, which is alright. Yeah, so we're putting the turbo on. Just got to swap this oil feed line over from the old style to the new one. Yeah, get the turbo on. Then we're going to throw it in the car and put the intake manifold on, which is right there. Throw some plugs in it. See if we can start it up today. Alright, so the turbo's all on. The water drain up there. And then it got not the water drain. One of the water lines there. And the other water lines here.
The feed line comes, it's just sitting up high, so when we put the motor in the car it's easy. That's on, oil pressure sensor's on. Throw an oil filter in it. Alrighty. So, alternator's going on. Lower intake plenum's on. Other side's going on now. Should be ready to drop it in the car. What are you doing there?
Is that what I'm supposed to undo?
No, I meant what are you doing?
Oh. I'm fucking chucking that in.
Okay. Solid steering bush.
Yep.
Thought it'd be a good idea before we put the motor in. It makes it 10 times harder.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
It's alright, we'll figure it out. Okay, so the motor's in. Fought us a bit. Struggled a bit getting the gearbox lined up. We didn't have a clutch alignment tool, so that was a big fuck around. Just readjusting the clutch and fucking trying to get some bolts started and then wiggling and then fucking trying to get under the car. There's no room because it's just on some blocks of wood to get the engine crane under, and the jack was holding the gearbox up, so we couldn't jack the car up any further to get under it properly. And yeah, it was a pain in the ass, but it's in. It's on the mounts. All the bell housing bolts are in now, so we'll finish off the rest another day. Okay, so just come into the shed to have a look at what plugs I got in stock. In stock is a very loose word. Gonna throw some BKR 6E11s in there for startup, because that's what we've got. Finished work too late to get them, from a shop or whatever on the way here, so this will do for the first startup, and then once it's running we'll go grab some BKR 7 EKs or BCPR 7 ES11s, I think. Anyway, we'll grab the right plugs once it's running, but these will do for first startup. Okay, so I think the last thing I filmed was I was putting the spark plugs in, which they are in. Anyway, so since then I've put the power steering pump on, dipstick, throttle cable, harness, the coolant lines under the intake manifold, the starter motor, the bottom bell housing bolts, the clutch slave cylinder, the fuel lines onto the reg. I know there's no hose clamp there, got to get one tomorrow. The vacuum lines, got to cap that off. All the wiring down on the starter motor and alternator, and the two hard ones to get to. If you can see that one at the back, I got a hose on that, and the really shitty small one on the side there, I got a hose on that too.
So that one that's exposed right in front, I have to cap that tomorrow and buy an adapter to go from 25mm to 19mm on this one, so I can run that to the other outlet on the heater core. And where that hose goes, the one that has the hose clamp on it, that hose goes to right here on the, yeah, it goes behind, under the intake manifold behind the head, and then it's going to go to a 90-degree fitting that's going to go into the heater core outlet, and that large 25mm outlet is also going to go to the same direction behind the head. This is going to go to a 90-degree fitting and be ran over to the catch can along with the pre-existing line that was already there. This, which just ran to the ground, so on the old motor the block breather was squashed and capped off, so I'm just going to leave that how it is, and put a 90-degree on this and run it across the top here and join it in with these and run it into a catch can or a bottle or whatever. But at least we got 2 points of breathing compared to one on the old setup. So we've thrown the rest of it back together more or less. Got a few things to do. Should be starting in a minute. Just getting oil fresh so I can run it.
Sound funny?
No, not really.
It's gonna be awkward getting me crying on camera. Just like...
right at the angry guy's house.
Really?
Yeah, it's right there.
Right.
Get in the boost the tiniest bit and roll into it. Sure your exhaust didn't fall off, mate? I'm gonna have to guide you into this. This is hard.
We've got a lot of lock now.
Oh, maybe. So, as you can see, the S13 is running. I didn't really want him to get onto the boost too much because it's got the wrong plugs in it. But yeah, it's running. Anyway guys, catch you later. Subscribe, like the video if you like it. See you later.